Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope things are well at your end. So guys, Canelo Alvarez has come out and, firing after a lot of criticism has been aimed at him after the Dimitri Bivol defeat. We have to say he's been subject to some serious criticism and people giving him a lot of stick. And this is what Canelo Alvarez had to say about that. He goes, I don't know how they handle that kind of thing, rankings, but I still feel I'm the best. The truth is that I'm still the best. Nobody has done that. I risk everything to continue making history when I don't need to risk anything. I've achieved a lot of things. So personally, I feel I'm the best fighter in the world. So Canelo Alvarez keeps it short and sweet there. Says that he thinks he's still the best fighter in the sport. He's still somebody that that deserves to be number one, pound for pound. How do I feel about that? I disagree in the sense that I think once you lose a fight, you're no longer number one pound for pound because you've lost a fight, irrespective of what you did, irrespective of whether you moved up a couple of weight classes. Is he still the best at his weight? Yes. But the fact that he's taken a loss, pound for pound, is somebody that, what have you done for me lately? And if you take a loss, then I don't think somebody can just lose and be the best pound for pound fighter in the world. That's not how it works, irrespective of what jump you did. Just because I feel that although Canelo Alvarez has the best resume, skills, but he lost. And pound for pound is not just on skills, resume and all of that, it's on your recent form. And his recent form shows a loss on his record. So that for me has to be taken into consideration when you're considering pound for pound. Do I think he should be put down to number 6? No. I think he should still be top 3. But I don't think he should be number 1 pound for pound. If that's what he's referring to. If he's saying he's the best fighter in the sport with what he's done in terms of his achievements, then yeah, he's probably right. But in terms of pound for pound, I don't think you can put a guy that's just lost a fight pound for pound number 1. I think that would be, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to put a guy that has just lost a fight pound for pound number 1. It doesn't, no, like that wouldn't make sense at all, because basically you're effectively saying then Canelo can lose whenever he can lose all the time, but just because of what he's achieved in the past, he should be number 1. That's not how things work. The fact that he moved up is irrelevant in the sense that he lost the fight. He chose it. He chose to take that fight. And yes, he is right. He does take risks, and he did take a risk. And I said to you prior to the fight that it's a risk, it's a dangerous fight. But we know that. But in terms of being pound for pound number 1, you can't lose a fight and then claim to be pound for pound number 1. I think he's basically saying best fighter in terms of his achievements and what he's done in resume. However, I will say this, there was a lot of people that questioning whether pound for pound he was number 1 in terms of skill set, because people think there's better fighters than him out there. People think there's better fighters with better skill sets, which there probably are. But you can't question the fact that Canelo has great skills and he also has a great resume. But is he pound for pound number 1 right now? No. I'm categoric. And you guys know I keep it real. I'm a Canelo Alvarez fan. I like Canelo, but in terms of him being pound for pound number 1, right, not at this particular point. If he beats Bivol, even if he beats Golovkin again, I don't even think he'll be pound for pound number 1. I think he'd have to beat Dimitri Bivol again, and then I'd put him pound for pound number 1. Because for me, he's got a loss on his record now, and he needs to avenge that loss. A lot of the guys, the other 2 guys that are considered Crawford and Usyk, they haven't lost a fight. And irrespective, Crawford's resume, Usyk's resume is great, by the way, but although Crawford's resume is not, a lot of people thought Crawford were better than Canelo. And what I mean by that is skill set. But Canelo losing a fight really hurts. And this is what I mean. When you like, Canelo's still a great and whatever. But when you're talking about pound for pound number 1, the margin for errors is very small. So if you lose a fight, you're not pound for pound number 1. Like Chocolatito Gonzalez a couple years back, before he lost to Rungvisai, he was pound for pound number 1 in some people's eyes. Even Floyd Mayweather said he's pound for pound over Andre Ward. But then Chocolatito lost. But you could still say Chocolatito was a lot more accomplished than Andre Ward. But you can't put him pound for pound number 1 if he lost to, Rungvisai. And this is the point I'm trying to make, that at the end of the day, your recent form should matter. And Canelo's recent form says a loss. So Canelo's going to have to avenge that. And like I said, even a win over Golovkin may not be enough to put him back number one. He'll have to beat Bivol again. If he fights Bivol, he's going to have to beat him. Because once you lose a fight, look at Lomachenko. He's not managed to get back anywhere near top 3 after that. How many? Like after, I know he's never become a champion after that, but Lomachenko hasn't managed to reclaim his throne. You know, a lot of people had him undisputedly number one. Canelo wasn't number one. Lomachenko and Crawford, it was between Lomachenko and Crawford. It's only of recent, because Canelo's done so much recently in terms of achievements, that he became number one. But let's not forget, a couple years back, it was between Lomachenko and Crawford. And I actually thought that was wrong, because Canelo was far more accomplished than those guys, even at that point. But Canelo just took his game to another level where he became undisputed number one pound for pound. But now that he's lost, guys like Crawford, but you have to say Crawford's been there, but Crawford's level of opposition has been pretty poor. So although he's been there and thereabouts, that's because he's not lost a fight, but his resume is also, but that's why he never gets put at number one as well. Crawford has never been undisputedly number one pound for pound. He's always trying to claim to be number one pound for pound, but even now people are putting Usyk number one pound for pound. They're not putting Crawford. And Crawford's not liking it because Crawford feels like he's not getting the respect. But he's not getting the respect because his level of competition hasn't been the greatest. If he beats Spence, then I think he will be pound for pound number one, or he'll be put pound for pound number one. Even then, I would doubt that, in my opinion, because I think if what Usyk has done is special, but then Crawford would be undisputed in 2 weight classes. So yeah, for me personally, I think if Crawford beats Spence, he probably deserves to be pound for pound number one. But yeah, I do think that if you lose a fight, you shouldn't be pound for pound number one. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It doesn't matter what you've done, because look at what guys like Chocolatito did. They were pound for pound number one, and he got removed after that. And let's be honest, Chocolatito after that even struggled to make it back in the top 10. Lomachenko, he was pound for pound number one, and after he lost to Lopez, he never managed to reclaim his throne again. So this is what I'm trying to say, like, being pound for pound number one is not easy to do. It's very difficult to stay at pound for pound number one. And this is why Canelo was pound for pound number one for a very long time. He's now been dislodged. I do think that putting him, Ring Magazine, putting him to number 6 was a bit far-fetched. Because he's not number 6 pound for pound. He should be a lot higher than that, even with a loss. But this is what I'm trying to say to you guys, that a loss has that much of an impact on a pound for pound ranking. That people put you so down, so they put you down 5 places if you lose a fight, and that's the crushing blow of a defeat. And look at the way people have reacted after Canelo's lost that fight. Look at the way they reacted, and this is what I mean. It takes your whole life to get respect. It takes one night to blow everything. And I felt like Canelo Alvarez is being disrespected, the fact that he lost to Bivol, so much to the point where people are almost saying, he was always a hype job. He was always overhyped. And this is the problem with boxing and boxing fans, is because there's fans out there that have an agenda, and there are fans out there that are wishing for certain fighters' demise rather than actually appreciating the sport. I'm not anybody that I don't wish bad on anybody. I don't hope that this fighter loses or that fighter loses. May the best man win. But, how many people when Canelo fights have an agenda and wanting to see him lose? The same way, how many fighters when Andrade is fighting have an agenda that want to see Andrade lose or Charlo lose? Or, how many fans out there? Like, I saw a post on Facebook, fans were saying Charlo better win, otherwise we're not going to let him off the hook after Canelo lost. Canelo got a lot of stick. So it was the Mexican fans saying, well, we're not going to let Charlo off the hook. But that's what's wrong about the sport, is the fact that rather than actually just appreciating a fight, it's like we're supporting one another. Fair enough, if you're supporting somebody from your background, that's fair enough, we all do that. But it's kind of like, sometimes there are people that not even supporting, like you could be Mexican, and there could be an American fighting with a Argentinian, it's not even a Mexican, but yeah, you have an agenda in a fight, and want to see a guy lose rather than just enjoying a good fight. And that's the problem I have with a lot of boxing fans, that boxing can be quite a toxic sport like that. The fans can be at times pretty toxic. And that's what I don't like. I prefer when people are they just love watching, sport. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be, I'm supporting this guy, I'm supporting that guy. It shouldn't be like that. It should be like, I'm a boxing fan. I love boxing. I want to watch the sport. I want to watch I want to watch a great fight and may the best man win. Not I have an agenda and I want to see this guy go down. I want to see that guy go down. That you know, that's just the way I look at it. But when I look at the pound for pound list, I look at it and sometimes I think, how do they have this guy there? How do they have that guy there? It's all about someone's opinion. But at the end of the day, there is a very biased. There are some biased people creating these lists, in my opinion. I don't. It's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for me because sometimes it's just like so obvious that there's some biased stuff put out there. Where Canelo was undoubtedly number one pound for pound, but I don't know how people could even question that. I didn't even know how people could question the fact that Canelo was number one pound for pound because of what he had done. And the same way right now, I don't know how people can question whether Usyk is pound for pound number one. Look at what Usyk has done. Usyk is a phenomenal fighter, and look at what he's achieved in the sport. He's in 18, 19 fights, undisputed cruiserweight champion, going to every champion's backyard and beating them comfortably. Then going up to the heavyweight champion, becoming a unified heavyweight champion. You know, beating a 6'6" guy, the guy that was probably 30 pounds heavier than him. You know, 3 inches taller than him, had a huge size and reach and all that advantage over him, and he beat him soundly. But yet people still don't, like, I see him on pound for pound list number 5, number 6, and I'm like, surely you can't be for real. And people say, well, oh, heavyweight shouldn't be on a pound for pound. This wasn't a heavyweight. This is a guy that came from cruiserweight that moved up to heavyweight. So he's not a heavyweight, effectively. He's a guy that's moved up to heavyweight after coming down from cruiserweight. So how is that not pound for pound number 1? Or heavyweight shouldn't be pound for pound. What that nonsense is that? If this guy's moved up from cruiserweight, he's not Tyson Fury, is he? He's a cruiserweight. He's fighting guys that are bigger than him. That's pound for pound. Fighting guys that are naturally bigger than you. Moving up weight classes. That's pound for pound, innit? But again, I don't know. This is what I mean. I don't understand the pound for pound list. I feel people contradict themselves. It's all a load of nonsense, to be honest with you, at times. But yeah, do I think Canelo should be at number 6? No. Do I think Canelo should be number 1? No. I think he should probably be 2 or 3. Probably 3, because I think Usyk and Crawford probably deserve to be above him now. But yeah, I think he should be number 3. You know, some people may even say Inoue deserves to be high. You know, he's another guy that gets overlooked. Another guy that, you know, is an unbelievable talent. You know, some people have Gervonta Davis on their pound for pound list, and I'm like, Gervonta Davis hasn't done enough in the game yet. He hasn't beaten enough top tier opposition for me to put him, you know, his resume is really poor. He's still not proven. Like, Crawford's proven, and I think we all know Crawford's special, but it's just the fact that Crawford hasn't got the top names yet in that division. But he's still got Porter, and he beat a guy that's never been stopped, and he beat him soundly. So you have to give Crawford a lot of credit for that. But nonetheless, I still think Crawford needs to do more. But someone like Gervonta Davis has to do a hell of a lot more. Jermell Charlo. Why isn't Jermell Charlo on the pound for pound list? And if they do put him on the pound for pound list, he's just scraping number 10. Why? But when Josh Taylor got on the pound for pound list, Josh Taylor was number 4, number 5. Well, why? Because he's lost a couple of times. Well, he fought the best and he beat him in the rematch as well. I don't understand why Jermell is so low, and he's undisputed. You know, so again, he should be higher up there, and his level of competition has been very good. So, yeah, I think sometimes these pound for pound lists can be a joke, but that's just my opinion anyway. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and hopefully I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, guys. Take care. See you in the next video.